standards, sleeping with him, texting, and more. That's what we're talking about on live today. Hey, welcome to the August live stream. It's great to have you on here. I finally found my water bottle, which has been missing for like 3 days. So I'm very pleased with that find. How you doing? Say hi while I get the Instagram feed up and running. If you can't see me, give me a yell and I'll close this curtain behind me. Lana's online. Hello, Lana. Renee is online. Great to see you, Renee. Charm's online. Hello, hello. Let's get the Instagram feed rolling, shall we? Hey, follow at Make Him Yours if you're not already, and you can watch me from a slightly different angle. It'll be great. Let's start the live video on the Insta. I'm going to put it over here. That way it doesn't block anyone. Yeah, we're going all right. We're going all right. On the live Insta, and I realized the reflective surface of this table wasn't working. So I ended up having to grab the nearest piece of paper I could find in my 30 seconds. I grabbed my police report from when my phone was stolen in Miami. So there you go, a subtle reminder of my sadly stolen phone. Lana, who else we got? Soros on from the Philippines. Gosh, I miss Manila. Lionel says, Lynn Chale says, how are you? I'm excellent. Thank you for asking. Carol says, hi, Mark. Hello, Carol. Laura Perez is online. Black Lotus finally caught alive. PPA says, I hope you'll answer me. Jayla says, Mark. Hey, we've got some exciting stuff happening. I wish I was slightly more organized because all the content I have stacked up for you guys is now on this giant editing pool, which is taking me some time to roll through. But we have the applicant interviews. So you might remember 3-ish months ago, I put out the call, hey, I want someone to join me on the channel. I want someone new to come along, help me with the public stuff. And gee, I got a response. No, 223, sorry, I was about to say 100. 223 applications came through from Australia to be part of the channel and to come and join me and do some stuff in public, which is the stuff that Jimmy is not as passionate about. So I was like, wow. So we had 223 applicants, 75 shortlisted, 30 sent me a video, 25 got the Skype interview, and now the top 12 have had their applicant interviews. And I want you to meet them and give me your thoughts. Bottom line, we had a ton of fun, and I've met the most amazing women, holy sheesh, around the country. Been to Brisbane, been to Sydney, been to Melbourne, now we're in Perth. Top 12, actually had one pull out, so top 11 are phenomenal. And we had some fun out in public. I may or may not have dragged them out and put them on the spot with their interviews. I embarrassed myself as well, though, so it's okay. I went first. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. It's really different content. It's really public content. A lot of it's hidden camera stuff, and a lot of it's me embarrassing myself. So it's a win for you on pretty much every level. What else we got? We got some amazing, amazing expert interviews coming along. So I'm going to shift some of that. Sorry, Insta, if I float out of frame. We're going to shift out of that. The fully just me talking and me shutting up instead, and someone even smarter than me talking, or much smarter than me, I should say, talking. Who else we got on? A few lessons from recent clients today. I thought I'd keep it pretty chill. Hi from New York. Hey, if anyone should be joining the Facebook group, if you are particularly from New York and you're not in the Facebook group, can you make sure you're in the Facebook group? The next thing you're going to ask me for is a link, which I don't, of course, have on hand. Far out. I'll log into my Facebook and get it. Make sure you join the Facebook group. I'm looking at a possible early trip to New York. I'm loving the public stuff so much, and I have so many clients in New York. It's just the kind of hub for my clients for whatever reason. It's looking like I might have the volume to actually get over there and run some public stuff where, okay, we're meeting men in public, we're meeting groups in public, we're having fun, we're pushing our comfort zones. Because the more and more I coach one-on-one, the more I'm realizing that if we can get these little groups together, it takes a lot to push yourself to meet. Like, for example, while I get this link, one of the women that we took out, one of the applicants, we went out and we met couples. So we're in a bar and I said, okay, you choose me a couple and I'll go over there. And she said, oh no, I'm going to get my eyes scratched out. How can I meet couple? This is ridiculous. Like they're on their own having a drink. So number one, there's a real chance they're not even a couple. You don't know that until you talk to them. And number two, what was number two? Oh, if you can add a positive vibe to their night, they're not going to care. And so she said, okay, I want you to go and talk to that couple. I went over bright in their afternoon. Got along well with them, actually. They were great, made some new friends. Turned out they were great. Good for him. The guy was really cool as well. And then the woman I was with, the applicant, went over, met the couple that I chose out for her. They weren't a couple. They were long-term friends, and they opened right up to her. In fact, she was like, the girl was like, could these two work out with like the applicant? So it really shows, this is not the link. Oh, maybe it is the link. It really shows that you can meet anyone anytime. And I want to get over, particularly, I want to run more of these, but particularly in New York, where I've got such a client hub, it'd be great to get over there. So if you're not in the Facebook group, wherever you're from, get in there now. I'm going to post the link in the comments section here because I finally found it. There we go. If you are from New York, though, over there in particular, because I might be coming to visit you. Gosh, there's so many comments. Thank you for leaving them. I feel overwhelmed. Mark says, love your videos. Holy sheesh. Thank you, Kelly C. You guys are lovely. I've got a few lessons from clients coming up too. You guys are just leaving so many lovely comments. Carla says, hi from New York City. Jay Campbell says, hello, what? Surprise from Arizona, the one state in America that I've realized does not follow the time zone rules of all the others. So any clients I have from Arizona, when would you plan to go to New York City? So, Marcella, we're definitely locking in a little trip for April, which I'm very excited about. I could be persuaded to come over earlier if the interest was there. So obviously, I do have to cover my costs. I'm not going to lie. You know, if I'm going to go over there and run client workshops, I don't really care about making money, but I definitely want to cover my costs. So that would be kind of my thing. If I've got the clients there and the interest is there, I can cover my costs. I'd love to do that for you, and I may even be able to bring someone with me, which would be either a videographer or even one of the applicants, who are fantastic. Some of these women, the things they did with me out in public, God, that sounds bad when I say it like that. The social challenges that they did with me out in public were incredible. Hi from Canberra. Annie's from Canberra. Vegas, Olga is coming online. Elizabeth said, I would like to know your thoughts about friends with benefits too. We'll get to some questions soon. Sherry's online. Stacey's online. A little question I want to talk about. Can't ignore the feed as well. Angie's online. Hey, now don't be hating on Arizona from KMAC. Imos is online. Okay, let's talk a couple of little client lessons that have come up. I think you'll find this interesting. The first one, there's been a trend. I've got my couple of notes in front of me that I made. There's been somewhat of a trend lately with a few clients who have had this. So I want to talk about this. I'm going to do a video on it. Is that a client will come to me in some sort of an anxious guy. So she will be, you know, he'll either be pulling away, or he'll be a bit mixed signally, or he'll just be communicating this slight on and offness. Often when they're together, it's great. And when they're not, it's not. Sometimes it's a client who has maybe actually broken up with the guy, and she said, oh, he was always a bit distant, and I started acting really anxious around him. And a few times this has happened now, I go into that client's relationship history. And, you know, in many cases, they've actually had quite a tough upbringing. And so the immediate thought is, okay, we need to dive into some deeper stuff around shame, around upbringing, and kind of see what's around anxiety, around upbringing, shame, and see what's going on and what we need to do here. The interesting thing, though, is that in many of these clients' circumstances, when you go forward to their relationship history, their first couple of relationships, you find that, okay, they've actually had brilliant relationships. You know, one client in particular springs to mind as a great example. She's just turned 29 from, again, New York, and, you know, beautiful inside and out, an absolute catch. I can see it. And she's like, yep, I've got this guy. He's kind of pulling away. What's going on? How do I get him? How do I keep his interest? This is driving me insane. And so I go, what's your history like? Has this always been men? She's like, no, my first boyfriend, solid as a rock, 5 years. Second boyfriend, 3 years, solid as a rock again. Never felt like this. I go, okay. So you've been attracting great relationships. You've had solid guys. What's the geo now? And then I have clients who are maybe a little bit older than that, in their 40s or 50s, and same sort of thing. It's like they've had solid relationships, and now for whatever reason, they seem to have attracted more avoidant guys. or guys that are not as into them. And some of them have done this 3 or 4 times in a row. Others have maybe done it just once. And there's a real trend I'm noticing in the clients that have come to me. They're freaking catchers, right? They're really upstanding, quality women. You know, and I'm not just saying that because they're like literally they're catchers. And I look at it, I'm going, what the hell's going on here? How are they? Something's not adding up. And what's happened is that at whatever time, I have to say, often it's late 20s, early 30s. Doesn't have to be though. At some point, they've started to put the outcome of a relationship on much more of a pedestal than they did earlier in their life. And what it's meant has been when they've attracted an avoidant guy, a more emotionally unavailable guy, they haven't filtered him out the way they used to. The result is they get into this kind of habit with this more avoidant, emotionally unavailable guy. And if you know about attachment styles, you know what I'm talking about. If you're secure and you have someone secure, that's what you want, right? Secure, you both have safe distance, you both have safe intimacy. And I've experienced this personally, if you're secure and you attract someone who's very avoidant, that person, especially if they're quite leaning that way, can put you into anxious. And it can train you in anxious. And if you do this enough times in a row, you can actually transition yourself to anxious. It's kind of like walking along a nice, straight, good path, and then suddenly you take one step off, but instead of getting back on the trail, you're like, oh, I really want to get to the end. I don't have time to walk back on the trail. You kind of keep walking off. And pretty soon you end up way off the path and going, how the hell did I get here? So what's basically happening with these clients is that they're slowly but surely training themselves into anxious by dating. And interestingly, it's not the type of men they would have dated 5-10 years ago. For whatever reason, often I've got here, outcome orientation, maybe late 20s, early 30s, they feel the pressure of a relationship and they start priority instead of happiness. It's possible, for example, that everyone around them is suddenly changing their status and they go, oh, I want to fit in. And they're not even thinking that consciously much of the time, but I want to fit into this social group. So to just make sure I get this. And instead of that natural kind of putting happiness on the highest level, like, does this guy make me happy? Is he emotionally available? What gets put on a pedestal is, have I got the same status as either my friends or where I should be in life? And the standards drop a little bit. They start to bend on things they wouldn't have used to bend on, and they train themselves into anxiousness. And it's really bad. It's really bad because you've got these really strong, upstanding, beautiful, confident, sexy, incredible women slowly training themselves to act like an anxious. And this is why this farce of get any guy, you've got to be really careful with it. Other coaches will talk, hey, this is like get any guy, whatever. You don't want to get any guy. I'm telling you, as you work on yourself and become more attractive, you will have more options, of course. Also, remember, you're going to have to push a lot of people away. I was on a client call yesterday and she said, Mark, this guy was, he was great. He was quite sexual though. And I said, well, are you wanting to just have fun? And she said, no. I said, well, in this online meeting scenario, if a guy's being straight up sexual and you're not looking for sex, you have to, you can put your standards in place and say, hey, not really what I'm looking for. Do you want to go for a walk today in the park, whatever? And if he's not keen for that, good. That means he goes away, which is what you want, because otherwise you end up going after things that don't match your standards and you end up wandering off that garden path. So I've seen this in 4 or 5 clients recently, and I really want to talk about it. It's kind of that amazing, secure woman, great relationships in the past. So it's not like the pattern of bad ones. It's she actually had the great secure relationship and now she's not. And you got to be really careful you don't train yourself into anxious. Really important. By the way, actually, good example. I've got a video coming out soon. You are going to love this. You're going to love this. When a dating coach gets ghosted. So this happened to me 18 months, 2 years ago. I met a woman, chemistry crazy, right? I'm sure you've felt the same thing. Chemistry crazy, and that person's just kind of distant. Maybe they're great in person. In my case, sensational in person, so warm, loving, affectionate. and then like distant when they're not around, just to the point where, I know I'm a secure and I'm like checking my phone constantly to see if she's messaging. I'm like, this isn't me. What the fuck am I doing? I'm at the gym, like seeing if she's, I'm like, this is not me. I don't do this. Right. And looking back now, I know what was starting to happen was I was starting to get trained into anxious. And thank God, even though I was really into it, I had to eventually let that person walk away, because despite the feelings, like if I go after that, I train myself to chase to chase avoidance, sorry. Train myself into anxious. So thank gosh I walked away from that, because I've never had the problem before or since. Actually, it's not quite. I've had a little bit occasionally since, but I spot it very early thanks to that. And secure women have never made me felt that way. And that's now looking back, I'm really glad that I let that person walk out of life. So don't let yourself be trained into anxious. There's so many great comments here. Where do I even start? You guys are amazing. Thank you for leaving them. Let's have a look. Janet says, I tend to love listening. Very interesting. Sometimes feels like you might let go and he's the one. Yeah, and it does. It does. Obira, it can sometimes feel like you're letting go someone amazing. And that's honestly sometimes what you have to do. That is honestly, otherwise you're going to train yourself into anxious. Thanks, Gina. Sounds like you're addressing my situation personally, says Marcella. I just find this really, it keeps coming up. Can you define emotionally unavailable men when a man is ready? This is a great question. Let's talk about this. Emotionally unavailable men. It's not quite the same as avoidant. It can be, and they link together. Let's talk about EU, because there's this myth. Okay, there's this myth that if a guy likes you enough, he will always commit. If a guy likes you enough, he will always commit. Let's think about that for a second. What if he's married? What if he has a girlfriend? Right? Is he going to commit through that? There's been plenty of women who have dated married men who clearly had no interest in their wife, dead marriage, whatever. And did those men commit to the new women? Very rarely. Now, that kind of makes sense when there's another woman in his life, right? If you go hit on a guy at a bar and he's like, oh, actually, you're lovely. That's my girlfriend over there. You don't take that personally, right? You're not like, oh, I'm unworthy. You're just like, okay, well, he's emotionally unavailable. He has a partner. No one takes that personally. At least I hope not. Whereas when a guy is single, it's like we take it much more personally, and we assume that because he's single, he's emotionally available. Nah, that's not how it is. No. When a guy is single, he still has this emotional availability base. What if he just broke up yesterday? He could be a great secure guy if he broke up yesterday or broke up a week ago. Nope. If his mum or dad got really sick. Nope. Recently. If his work just fired him. Nope. If his family stresses. Nope. If he got really sick. Nope. There's a million reasons a single guy can be emotionally unavailable too that have nothing to do with you. So think of it like a timeline, all right? Think of emotional availability like a timeline, where there's like on one end is totally emotionally available, on the other is totally emotionally unavailable. All right, there is like two things along this timeline. The first is like a bracket. So imagine a bracket, like a range that moves along this timeline. This is what you have no control over. Okay, if he's married, I don't care, what happens, his bracket is not going to hit that end for you, no matter what you want to do about it. If he's just lost his job, his bracket's probably not going to meet that end, no matter. And by the way, even married men, sometimes when they get insecure, could actually float away and go into EU with their wives. So there's this basic bracket, right? And inside that bracket, think of it like a needle. That's how much he likes you. That's what you can influence. So the base of how emotionally available a guy is, you cannot control. And half the time, you don't know the factors. If you're meeting men online, a lot of them are going to be EU. They're just going to be basic EU, because there's a ton of guys that love to just sit around online, send nice messages, do nothing else about it. They just want a little bit of affection from afar. So this you can do nothing about. And this is why this fallacy of, hey, any guy who likes you enough will commit, because if he's here, it doesn't matter if the needle's right up the I really like her end. He's just got too much inner resistance. I had a client go through this lately. Like it was clear he was very into her, and then he just kept doing dumb shit to push her away. Right? It's just, and he's verbally he says he likes her. He's always warm around her, and then he just keep doing shit. He's got blocks that he doesn't even know he's got. So that bracket for her is a lost cause. If the bracket is in the right place, then you have a chance, because then it just depends to how much he likes you and all the non-physical, physical attraction, all these things. So that's emotional availability in the nutshell. If you meet a guy whose bracket is in the right place, then you have a chance in helping him commit. He's not going to commit to just anyone, especially not a high quality guy. But if he likes you enough, he's in the position to do that. Whereas a guy down here, won't matter how much he likes you, his baseline EU is availability is the wrong place. Okay, good question. What if a guy never texts you in months? Well, that is not someone I'm making time for in my life. There's a couple of questions about friends with benefits, which probably touches on another really good little topic. Hello, Insta. How you going? Leave your comments as well. A couple of questions on when to sleep with a guy, sort of around sex and things. And I certainly do coach clients from more conservative cultures. You probably know me. You probably know I'm not so much like that myself with my coaching. I'm very much for sexual empowerment. That also means having it on your terms, which might mean waiting till marriage. That might mean waiting till commitment. Client asked me, I'm dating this guy. She said, I'm 3-4 dates in. No, 3 dates? I think it was 3. It might even have been 2. It was early. She said, I'm dating him. When's sex? When should I sex him, Mark? I said, well, hold on. When do you want to sex him? And she said, but what's he going to think of it and stuff? I said, here's the thing. No matter when you have sex, someone's going to have an opinion on it, right? If you do it early, some judgmental man will go, yep, she's too promiscuous. And I'm sure you use nastier words than that. I personally think it's really empowering, and I think it's impressive as long as it's done for the right reasons. Hey, everyone's going to have a different opinion on it. Here's what's important. You decide what you want to do for you. So this, you decide what works for you. You enjoy it. You don't attach an outcome to it. And then you put your standards in place in a powerful way that you're proud of. In other words, if you want to go sleep with a guy on the first date, great. Do it in an empowered way. If that guy walks away, you're in abundance because you have other great men in your life who are going to come along. If a guy is like judgmental of that and that's the lifestyle you want to lead, then fantastic. Filter him the hell out. That's you want that person to run off. Okay? That abundance is how you attract people who love you for you, because they want to connect with you when you're at your best and most powerful and doing what you believe. This client, her example, she said, I don't really want to wait for commitment. I just want some emotional connection there. I said, great, don't attach an outcome to it. Do it when it feels right for you. Probably be, in the first weeks or months for her. And she said, but what if he judges that? Fuck him. Okay, I'm trying not to swear here, but fuck him, right? If he does that, it doesn't matter, because that's, you put your standards in place in an empowered way. And if he's not keen for that, if a woman's not keen for me when I'm putting my, standards in place and I'm living my best life, then there's a better woman for me. Same applies to you. So no matter when you have it, make sure you're doing it in an empowered way. And if someone judges you for it, screw them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you're doing what's right for you. People are always going to have opinions, so you may as well do what you like. What else? Seemed caring, now seems shy. Hey, if you have questions, it's always a little tricky answering the questions on the text. Obviously, I work with clients. I should mention, I can't believe it took me 25 minutes to get to this. The Academy. The Academy is upgrading within a week. I'm down with Brett. I'm just finishing up the last of the slides, and then the Empowerment Academy. I'm going to put the address in the address box below, www.makehimyours.com.au/academy. So that's my Empowerment Academy. It's going to be based on my upcoming book, and there's a lot there. I probably worked through an entire last couple of days and got maybe 5% of it done. So there's a lot there. I'm going to be adding to it for the next, basically indefinitely, certainly the next 12 to 24 months. And as the book comes out, that's going to be the fundamental course. Right now, foundation memberships, price is going up once I release this next part. I'm just saying this. Get on board now because it's going to be cheaper. You know me, I'm not a salesperson. I don't really give a shit about that stuff. But if you come on board now, you're going to get it before the upgrade, and I'm about to add a bunch of new content. Plus, I'm live straight after this live stream. So we finish up here in about 15 minutes, and then straight after this live stream, I'm heading over there, and we actually get the talk back. I get the questions in real time. You're going to hear me doing the coaching. You're going to hear how I respond, hear other women's things, what's going on with them. So we actually get and text is great. Don't get me wrong. Being able to talk to a client or a woman in the academy is even better. So they're still small at the moment. I'm going to put all the recordings up in there as well. This is your last chance, literally the last few days. As soon as Brett's coming over on Monday, my goal is to have it Monday night released. Maybe Tuesday. I know I should be putting in like a 7 days to go thing or 6 days to go. I want to get it damn right before I release it. So whenever that will be, anticipating Monday, Tuesday. So this is the last chance to get those foundation prices, and you can come online in 30 minutes time and meet me in person. We can chat. So that'll be good. Hit that link that I just popped in there. Samantha says, when is the book coming out? No lock-in date at the moment. For that, Samantha, I'm actually got a small group. I've seen one or two of you in here as a little bit of a feedback party because I really want this. I don't want to be one of those people that puts out a book that's like 90 pages long and they threw it together. I'm just seeing too much of that. I'm not putting out a book unless I'm like, this is really this. If someone follows this process, this will change their life. I'm not putting out anything that I'm not absolutely that crazy confident in. So yeah, it's going to take me long. Perhaps some other coaches who put out stuff quicker. I've been working on it for almost 2 years now, and if it doesn't change lives, I have to be 100% confident that this is going to get the same results or close to the same results that it will for my one-on-one clients. So that's the level that I'm looking for, and that's why I'm getting feedback from a couple of peeps in here as well. Lots of good stuff going on behind the scenes with that. So the academy is going to have some of that content though, so you can see it early by joining that academy now. makehimyours.com.au/academy. Let's have a look. Oh, online dating profiles. Susie says, what's your on how to write? By the way, you'll see this in an upcoming video. I'm banning with all my clients and now you as well. I'm banning the word online dating. Language is power. The words you use to describe your experience become your experience. You cannot date online. You'll notice I haven't used that term for a while. So as I was using online meeting, because that's all you do. You meet people online. Unless you're planning to have a relationship online, you don't date online. You meet people online. So let's relanguage Susie's question, who says, how to write your online meeting profile. The examples given are really interesting, ladies. How do I make myself interesting when I'm just a regular? With love from Sunny. I was working through this with a client yesterday. Hey, I said to her, have you had this problem of getting guys who are just after sex? And I'm sure you can identify with this, right? You go online and it seems like the guys who are messaging are just after sex. Okay, what that's really communicating is that the balance between physical and non-physical attraction is off in your profile. Okay, every man that dates you, meets you, messages you, wants to sleep with you. It's just a fact, okay? Whereas the non-physical attraction, that's what's harder to figure out, and that's what a lot of women struggle with, right? If the non-physical attraction is there, you can sleep with them on the first date, doesn't matter. If it's not, he'll probably wait the 5-10 dates to sleep with you and then get tired of it. So with your online meeting profiles, I looked at this client and she said, I'm just getting, because remember, there's a million guys online. Most of them are waste of time, you know what I mean? Most of them are not the real catches that you want. The cream of guys, which might be 10% of guys, is going to look through these marketing profiles, which is basically what an online woman's profile is, or man's. They're going to look at it and then they're going to go, okay, I'm going to message the women that seem most interesting, that seem like they're the most rounded, that seem like they could potentially have a relationship with me, right? While the other 90% of guys, they're messaging everyone too. So if you're exclusively getting guys that are just after sex, it means your profile isn't set up in a way, and this isn't a reflection on you, this is a reflection on your ability to create a profile. Your profile is not set up in a way that 10% finds you more interesting than the other 90%. And I looked at this client's profile yesterday, and here was her basic profile, the basic remnants of it. The first sentence was like, something like, I love dancing and art. The next 5 sentences were something about what she's looking for in a man. And the last sentence was something like, I love to laugh and I love to spend time with my friends. Okay. She said, why are guys just messaging me for sex? I said, what else are they going to message you on? You've literally given one sentence about yourself. One. The first sentence was a little bit about your art and dancing. Great. The next 5 are about what you're looking for in a man. That doesn't tell him anything about you. The last one was generic. I like to laugh and spend time with my friends. Yeah, great. So does every human ever. There was nothing in the profile about you. And then the photos weren't overly sexual. You know, she was an attractive woman. It's just that with nothing else to go on, the guys went, okay, well, I'm just gonna I'm the exciting guys were not finding her, and the non-exciting ones were going, okay, there's not much to go on here. I'm just gonna go on the sex thing. No matter how good your profile is, remember, you will get the people looking for sex. What you want is also those 10-20% of messages from that top tier guy who's really emotionally available, interested in meeting someone. So in this client's case, she only did the one session actually, and it takes me a few sessions to do a good profile with the client. In this client's case, though, I said you've got to get way more about you in there, because it's like a Match.com, plentyoffish.com kind of profile. You've got to get more about you in there. And then the follow-up to that is the messaging. And once a guy messages, it should be fun and light. You know, he should be enjoying the conversation and looking forward to getting you on the phone. She went down the path, and she did have a couple of good guys message her, but she went down the path of getting to know them via text. And this is a big mistake, because if you're getting to know someone via text, you're going to fizzle that. And there's only so long you can talk about your hobbies until it gets boring, right? I said 12 texts. That's it. Get the guy on the phone or get them pissing off within 12 texts. That way you're getting to know these guys and you have a chance to showcase your real personality over the phone. So important. So for her, she had to rebalance the non-physical attraction in her profile. Now, obviously, in some apps, this is really difficult. Your Bumbles, your Tinders, you don't get much profile space, and half the time guys don't read them anyway. So that's where messaging really comes into its own. Because if your photos are nice, it's the physical attraction that will kick it off. Yes, men will message you for sex, but also the men who are looking for relationships will get in there and go, okay, she's cute, I'm going to message her. And this is where your messaging style, that second boyfriend benefit. First one, sex on tap. Second one, excitement. What feeling does he get from coming into your life? Does he look forward to hearing from you? Does he look forward to seeing you? What's the energy? What energy does he associate you with? I have a friend, one of the most amazing women I know, actually a roommate of mine, and I know whenever she walks into the room, it's going to be a great experience. Whenever she walks in, this is the most, and she is exceptional in her energy. She got very, very, very sick last year or the year before, almost terminally ill, managed to come back, and now it's just turned her into the most positive, radiant person in the world. And I know when she walks into a room, right, I'm always like, oh, Steph's home. Steph's going to walk into the room. I can't wait to get a hug from Steph, right? If you can communicate that in just a mini little way, via your texting, whether it's on an app or on a Match.com, whatever, then the guy's he's going to want to hear from you. He's going to want to call you. He's going to want to take you out. He's going to want to spend more time with you. This client yesterday was getting into heavy texting. Oh, I'm so sorry if I messaged too much. I hope I didn't do something wrong. Blah. Right? It's not fun. It's not light. You always want to keep your fun, light vibe with your texting. And when you're on an app, the guy should be like, this woman's cool. I can already feel, and he's not thinking this, but he's already feeling that second boyfriend benefit of excitement of bringing you into his life. Yes, you're sexy, so he's getting excited for sex on tap as well. Remember, every guy that dates you wants to sleep with you. Now he's finding all the other things. Very important. Oh, I feel like I've been ignoring the comments. I'm sorry. I get on a roll and then I get all excited. Insta. Who's on the Insta? Sherry says, I would rather be alone and then settle for less and be anxious. Very important. Jesse Dutton's online. Shantima's online. Benna Rose is online. Who else we got online? Is it okay to ask a guy out? Janet says, I am old-fashioned. I expect a guy to ask me out all the time, but the guy I'm interested in has to express to me that it takes 2 to date. Look, you've got to decide what sort of relationship you're building. It's certainly okay for a woman to ask a man out, of course. if you make a habit of it, especially ongoing with the same guy, you're going to train him that's going to be the dynamic you set, right? So you might do it the first time and then you might say, hey, mister, where are you taking me this weekend? You get him to do it the second time. Hopefully you can set up at minimum a 50-50 balance. I was actually coaching a client the other day who from the start set up the 60-40 balance. She said at the start it was 60-40 me chasing and it kind of got worse from there. And if a guy's like that, if a guy's unwilling to chase and you do want someone who puts in at least 50% effort into you, unfortunately, you need to let those guys walk away as well. You can give them sometimes green lights till the cows come home and they just still won't do it. So, yeah, you can certainly ask a guy out for sure. And that's a great tool to have in your arsenal. I also think if you want a man who chases you as well, and it's the same for me, right? Like, there's some women who are in this 100% chasing mindset. And anecdotally speaking, I've met quite a few women who physically are, drop dead beautiful. And it's got them used to always, because guys, unfortunately, in their early years have put them on somewhat of a pedestal because the guy wants to be seen with a drop dead beautiful woman. That woman has actually got out of the habit of investing herself and of investing back in the man and chasing back in the man, which has always been a real turnoff to me because I want someone who's going to invest in me too. I want someone who's say, hey, I want to see you, like I'm keen to see you this weekend. Yeah, great, I'm keen to see you too. So that's something to be aware of. And I've in times where I've coached models and people in those sorts of industries, they've been really bad at chasing and investing. And a lot of the time they've developed dynamics where initially it's great, the guy does all the chasing. And then as soon as she wants to kind of invest back, the guy kind of gets bored. And she then feels like she has to hold back interest ongoingly in the relationship. And they create this weird sort of chaser-chasee dynamic rather than a balanced dynamic. So if that's you or you've been in that industry, it's important that you are investing as well. So I will say that. And certainly if a woman's not investing in me, I'm not going to, and the avoidant woman who I had the crazy chemistry with is a great example because she was absolutely beautiful inside and out. And you know what? If I'd kept chasing her, I would have, so that she looked good on my arm, I would have very much regretted it. So I had to let that person who was unwilling to chase me and invest into me float off into their own little space. And then obviously I'm going to draw in more secure people who are more comfortable being vulnerable and investing back. So it's important it goes both ways. At the same time, I think it's nice if you can green light. And if you are going to ask a guy out, say, hey, your turn next, or where are you taking me this weekend, or getting him to take the lead. If he's unwilling to, great, let him go and be distant with someone else. How do you know when a guy fakes to be in love with you? Gee, wow, that's not a question I've heard before from Carla. I think the biggest thing, it reminds me, I've been working on the player content for the academy. The big thing is consistency. I mean, you're a woman, you have better intuition, better reading ability of him. So as you spend time around him, and this is why it's so important to qualify men you date, so important to really take time to get to know them, because any man can fake it for a day, send a nice text. Any man can even, do a great job for a week. Once you start to stretch it out to a couple of months and you see him in all environments, if he's faking it, holes are going to appear. You're going to get that gut feeling. So you're going to know. Trust that gut instinct. Take time to get to know a guy and keep clicking the refresh button. And by that, I mean, if he was great in the first week and he's been shit the last 3 weeks, it doesn't matter that he was great in the first week. You have to, like a jammed up internet browser, you have to click refresh and judge him on his most recent efforts. Not how great he was, how great he is. EJ's online. Great to have you online, EJ. Me and EJ actually did some fantastic interviews recently, and I can probably divulge this, that EJ was one of the top 12. So EJ is a sex and love coach from here. I was going to say here in Brisbane, but I'm not in Brisbane. She's from Gold Coast, Brisbane area. And we were talking about 2 things, actually. EJ's mentioned in here, wound mates versus soulmates. I'm really excited for you to see this interview, because often where that crazy chemistry is, that's actually someone who's matching your wounds rather than someone who's going to serve that fulfilling relationship life for you. So I won't give it all away. Great interviews, fantastic interviews with EJ coming up. We went down to South Bank as well, went outside, had lots of fun out there. And another interview we did with EJ was we were talking about inner masculine. I get a lot of women who are coming to me who might be in traditionally masculine roles. I have clients who are doctors, clients who are bankers, clients who are CEOs, CEO, what's it called, recruiters, these sorts of people. Many of them are in their masculine a lot. However, they're not in the type of masculine that serves them in their dating. I probably don't know enough, and EJ's the expert on this, so you'll see this in the interview, which I'm really excited for. Essentially, when you are truly confident in your masculine, it allows you to truly bring out your feminine. And this is kind of backwards from what a lot of coaches are saying, which is always bring out your feminine, bring out your feminine, bring out your feminine. When your masculine is truly comfortable, it actually frees your feminine more than anything else. So me and EJ, keep an eye on the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, me and EJ are going to be talking about that. EJ says, yes, we have to evolve in a masculine. She's been, if you should be able to head to Facebook. EJ might be able to tell you how to find her on Facebook. Emma Jane Love, EJ Love. She's been all over the morning shows and everywhere. Let's have a look. Other questions? Do you have a question? We've got probably 6 minutes before I've got to jump over to the Academy and get set up for the Q&A live stream where I actually get to talk to you one-on-one, as in like talk back. It's great fun and live coaching and lots of good things. Melanie says, I adore your videos. They've been so inspirational. I'm glad I discovered you. That's so lovely. Thank you, Melanie. I'm really excited for this next trip in the channel. We've got the Ask Marks, which I meant to publish this morning, this time tomorrow. We've got the Ask Marks. We've got the standard content videos. And by the way, there's some amazing ones to come. There is some of the ones still to come. So make sure you share them around, show them to your friends, etc. I want to take it to the next level, though, because any coach can come online and talk, content and answer questions and things. I want to also be getting the best people in to answer questions. And I also want to be taking women out to inspire you to get offline. An online meeting's great and it's important, but it should always be a supplement, not a substitute. And when, it really lit my fire doing these applicant interviews because, we're meeting people who are asleep, right? Or who we thought were asleep. We're meeting couples. We're meeting people in restaurants, right? We're meeting people where there's social barriers that you're not supposed to cross. We're meeting people walking down the street. We're doing it. And it just shows it can be done anywhere, anytime. And I really this is why I want to do this New York trip, is because I think I've got my biggest client hub there and there's so much potential there. So wherever you're from, make sure you're in that Facebook group. The link is in the comments. If you just scroll up, it's my comment. I'll find it here. The link I'll post again. Well, we definitely don't want to do that. Leave that, open a new tab. I'll post the link again, especially if you're from New York. I'm going to do a post today and in the YouTube community space about coming over. As I said, I don't care about making money, but I can't really lose money by going over there. So if I can get the costs covered, I'd love to come over, film some stuff and run that. Definitely be over in April, but aiming for before then as well. There's a link. So if you're from New York, make sure you are there. Any quick questions? How do you make a guy see a future with you? How do you make a guy see a future with you? Well, if a guy is seeing those boyfriend benefits and is that into you, he's going to naturally, men have this dopamine surge, right? When he's really into you, he's going to be wanting, that's what men are programmed for, is wanting a future. That's why we get these surges in our minds when we're into someone, is to encourage us to stick together to build a future. And as you increase that connection, increase that vulnerability over time, more and more the man's going to see you as a long-term future. He's going to be, this is why vulnerability is so important. There's so much about having the power and having the power to get this and to get that. If you're always in power, it means you're never vulnerable. And vulnerability is the seed of connection, is the underlying of real connection. That's the point of monogamy. That's the whole point of it. And this is one of the polygamy side, I think, a fantastic growth experience to do that. That community can, not always, can attract people who don't want to be vulnerable, who would rather have the more superficial layer of connections. And one of the gifts of monogamy is the vulnerability it allows you to dive into and the growth that can come from that. And this is why when I see couples who do polygamy well or non-monogamy well, they've usually dived into a very deep level of vulnerability first, and then the non-monogamy becomes a further growth exercise, as opposed to couples who just stay on the superficial and are like, we're just going to sleep with other people. That's not so much a growth exercise. That's more a lack of vulnerability coming through. So I think that's we got a couple more minutes. Let's see if I can get one more. Monica says, nice to get to see you live from Portugal. Hey, the next live stream is on the 5th. No, the 4th. Depends where you live, actually. It's on the 5th if you're in Australia. It's on the 4th in America, and Europe somewhere between, I think, early morning on the 5th. If you're in Portugal right now, it's like 2 a.m. So mad respect for getting on here, Monica. 4th to 5th of September is the next live stream. We're going to be talking, well, what do you want to talk about? Tell me in the community section. I'll put up a post. What do you want to talk about? I think the lessons from client stuff is cool. And that way it's a bit more spontaneous and I'm not preparing content the way I am with the others. Well, not in the same way. Anyway, I think it's cool. If you want to hear a particular topic, though, I'll post it in the community. If you're from New York, make sure, or wherever you're from, make sure you're in the Facebook group because it will go other cities as well, particularly from New York, though. Any other questions? Oh, I love that. Greetings from Peru. Wow. And Nell says, like he wants, let's be honest, men have sexual needs that like to be free, as do women. Let's not remember that. Sam says, how much is private coaching? If you're looking for private coaching, it is invite only. So we'd need to do a discovery call first. You can email mark@makehimyours.com.au. I'm pretty full with clients at the moment. Usually a slot or two opens up each week somewhere, though, with reschedules and things. So I can, if one-on-one coaching is something you're committed to, discovery call, we do some amazing stuff on discovery calls. And then the rest of the programs are invite only because I don't want someone signing up for a long program if they're not right for me as a coach, if they don't vibe me as a coach, or if I don't vibe them as a client. I'm really cracking down on my clients with action taking too. We're doing a lot of offline meeting men. So that's a huge thing, is getting those offline habits. And I'm perfectly willing to end coaching with clients if good. Yes, I'm perfectly happy to end. Obviously, if I was going to do that, I'd give all remaining dollars back. I'm happy to be their friend, but I'm only looking for clients who are real action takers, and that's why the program's invite only. So yeah, if you are interested in discovery call, you can do mark@makehimyours.com.au. That's it for today. I'm going to jump over onto the Academy and do the talk back. Hey, Insta, thanks for coming online. You've been amazing. YouTube, thank you so much for supporting me and what I do. You are beautiful. You are amazing. And without you, I wouldn't have anything. So I owe you a debt of gratitude I can't even explain. Thank you so much. Don't forget the free guides. If you haven't got them already, you can get the sexting guide from makehimyours.com.au/sexting. I'll put in the link just to make it extra duper, super duper easy for you. makehimyours.com.au/sexting. And you can get the first chapter of my book from www.makehimyours.com.au/book. All right, let's jump over to the Academy. If you're in the Academy, I'll see you in 10 minutes. If you're not, head to makehimyours.com.au/Academy. I post the link in the Facebook group, so you have to get into the Facebook group and click the link. I'll be over there, and the price will go up as soon as me and Brett are done. Brett's coming around on Sunday, I think, or Monday, and we're going to finish the upgrades and pop the price up. For all existing members, you will have the lifetime access, though. So now's a good time to join. Thank you again so much. I really, really appreciate you and supporting my channel. Hope you share the videos around and promote the message of empowerment through growth, self-esteem, and authenticity. Thank you again, and I will see you soon.